Hello, lads and ladies. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Same time, same day, every single week. We talk about esports. We talk about gaming. We talk about really cool stuff. Hello, Zan.
Hello, Jake. How has the week been treating you?
It's been amazing, dude. I shouldn't even say that. I didn't say crazy this time.
Oh.
You know.
Quiet snaps.
I'll
Snaps
be honest.
for Jake.
January, February are kind of slower months around here. December as well. So it's been kind of slow. Hopefully things are picking back up, though, as our seasons are now beginning. Call of Duty League, LCS, and all the League of Legends leagues are starting up as well. So hopefully some spicy stuff coming down the pipe.
I already got an eye on a couple stories that could be really hot for the fans out there. But, before we jump into some stuff that might point in that direction, shall we get started on today's topics?
Yeah, you ready to hit it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, viewers, let's go. And Xana, for the first story I'm going to hit you with is multi-million-dollar deals, something not too surprising in the gaming space. They continue to happen, and especially with three big figures that I know you guys all know about, that being Dr. Disrespect, Nickmercs, Timthetaman. I give you those three names, and I say multi-million-dollar deals when it comes to the dome piece.
Ooh, of course, top names in streaming. So I'm thinking immediately orgs. Which teams are they eyeing? Which teams are looking to pick them up? Where are they going in the future?
You know, surprise, surprise, it's actually not that this time around.
Okay.
Ironically timed, though, because, Doc's been teasing with Optic.
Yeah.
Of course, Nick's already with FaZe, and then we have Timthetaman.
Tim, he's like, oh, yeah, let me get that bag real quick.
Yeah, let me get paid heck of money. This is actually around sports betting sponsorships and partnerships.
Okay. For sure.
Entering the space. Over the past many months, Timthetaman, Nickmercs really leading the way. I would say maybe overseen by the typical viewer. You don't really think too much of it. Shortly after all the NFL partnerships, for a time they were actually streaming NFL games, which is really cool to see. They could actually just sit back, watch a game, and get a lot of viewers doing so. Then they started sharing their bets on these games, and well, like smart men think, and ladies as well, if they're included in the future, they are now slowly going to be announcing some gigantic partnerships for sports betting. It was actually Doc first on Twitter this past week hinting that him and FanDuel would be lining up for something big, and I can tell all of you guys it seems likely sometime in the near future Nickmercs, Timthetaman will follow suit, which all of this adds up, and they are seven-figure deals at the very, very least. Some big money.
100%, especially because we know for a fact sports betting companies want to get into esports. The primary reason they haven't in the past is because, first of all, esports betting isn't legalized in the same way sports betting is in many regions.
Not even
states.
close.
Yeah.
But it is the future goal.
Super limited. And I think in part, there's also got to be the consideration of the really, really negative connotation with betting in esports and gaming, specifically in the past several years. I mean, that's been a large part of the reason why we gotten several offers from betting and gambling companies, and normally we just can't take them because, let's be real about the situation, gambling in esports and gaming is still a very fraught subject.
Yes.
Not one we want to dip our toes into right now.
Very negative connotation as of right now, especially given this past year of gaming. Probably some of the most extreme cheating allegations, match-fixing allegations, throwing things have been thrown out there for big money in esports. And because we're still so early on, there's not that legitimacy. And yet there is obviously corruptness wherever there's money involved, right? Some sports have their corrupted moments.
But at least they have like a little bit of regulation, like a little bit. They have somebody going like, hey, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, or if you do, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
And as in esports and gaming, it's still so early on. And yes, a lot of people do get away with it. And especially if you dip big money into it even further, if you were to legitimize esports betting this early on, it could be very dangerous to see these teams all of a sudden start losing a lot more. And so obviously these big deals are a great sign for streamers to make some extra income. And it's funny because, like you said, to end on this, if we take an esports betting offer, it looks, I'll admit it looks kind of weird at this point in time.
A little sketchy right now. Yeah.
But Timthetaman, Nickmercs, Doc, they sign with sports betting sites.
Those are the three perfect names in my mind, to be honest.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
You think of it, you're like, that's actually really cool. Like, there's no issue with that. I don't think anyone is out there thinking, oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, no, Doc is going to pay some team to throw a game.
He's going to bet on the Packers. No one's thinking like that. So I cannot wait to see, hopefully in the future, this does lead to an esports kind of thing where all of a sudden streamers are being paid to, or you see them betting big money on Na'Vi or FaZe, whoever it might be. That's what I see 10 to 20 years from now. Can it happen?
It definitely will.
One can dream. Let's hope.
To another somewhat contentious subject of discussion, real briefly. Let's talk about esports jerseys and merchandise, actually. As we go into 2021.
Zan, my favorite thing.
Yeah, really.
Esports jerseys.
Yeah, we all love them. But yeah, the esports industry has grown tremendously in 2020. We've seen record numbers from many different scenes, streaming platforms, etc. Esports is flourishing. Of course, we're struggling in our own very special ways.
We have our problems for sure.
Yeah, but hey, a lot more people are getting exposed to the scene, which is great to see. Unfortunately, as more people get involved and as the scene grows, we're going to start running into more issues that other industries face. One of which was brought to light by NRG's own Andy Miller last week. Yeah.
My freaking boy.
Yeah, homie's dope as heck.
I know. That's a smart mother freaking.
Yeah, real talk, 100%. But anyway, he took to Twitter a little bit ago to expose Amazon and their practices around false esports merchandise being sold by providers that are very clearly not getting the merch from the companies and just making their own prints of like jerseys, t-shirts, hoodies, and such.
Straight up knockoffs.
Yeah.
Which we should not be surprised by.
We should not be surprised. I'm not surprised they exist. I'm surprised by the volume. Because when I looked at the site that Andy linked, in particular, the storefront on Amazon, there was over 500 different items.
Yeah, I saw. I was reading reviews.
Yeah. Same. I was looking for like...
There weren't many.
Yeah.
There was a lot of ratings, just not many actual reviews. So people are out there. The funny part to me is people are out there walking around with rip-off merch they might not even know is rip-off.
Which is kind of why I wanted to bring this up, right? Because I'm a fashion guy, right? And
I'm not.
Yeah, in fashion, and like especially when you get into high fashion streetwear, like the more esoteric tech wear, like stuff from super popular artists like Kanye and stuff, right? Fakes are just part of the nature of the game.
Yep.
And that industry is so strong right now that legitimately I have to like follow several different like fake merchandise providers just so I can tell what flaws they make when they make their fakes. So I know if I'm buying a product, I'm not buying, the fake as opposed to the
legitimate. You think esports and gaming will get there one day?
100%. 100%.
Dang.
Especially because esports is in a place where fashion people care about the small details like quite a bit, right?
Especially if you're like a FaZe or 100T.
Yeah.
You can probably, make some nice rip-offs and with some of the collabs that FaZe has and be making money selling fake FaZe wear.
Very easily, especially because a fashion person will be like, okay, this isn't 100% cotton, this is like 70% like poly cotton or something like that.
And I'm like, yeah.
And like, the average esports fan is going to be like, oh yeah, no. it's a shirt.
Yeah.
It's got the logo on it, right? Yeah. But I kind of wanted to tell people something that I wish I had heard when I was first getting into fashion, which is that what you buy says quite a bit about you and your interest.
Why are you going after me like this, dude?
No, I'm not going after you at all. This is like genuinely like advice I wish I had heard when I started getting into clothes, because like my first high fashion purchase, as basic as it was a pair of Yeezys.
There we go.
Yeah, because I didn't know fashionable shoes could be that cheap retail. Like $200 doesn't sound cheap, but like it's cheaper than like I thought it was all like $1,000 minimum, right? So I was like, okay, what is this situation looking like? And I see a pair of Yeezys on sale for $80. I'm like, oh, for sure, somebody just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Not knowing when I was just getting into it that, oh, obviously that's fake because it's lower and it's not coming from the official source and everything. And that's a trap that I see a lot of my friends fall into. I get texts from people constantly sending me like a link to some shoes or a hoodie and be like, oh, hey, this is super cheap. It's on sale. Let me grab it. I'm like, no, that's fake. Let me say, this is why you don't want to buy fakes, guys, especially for esports. When you buy a piece of esports merchandise, it's not just you buying a hoodie to, show your support for the organization and the team. It does actually say something about you as a person. And each of these orgs have different designs associated with their hoodies. They have different fits, different materials. And if you buy a hoodie from an org that you truly care about, it's going to mean so much more to you than if you buy a random $20 hoodie off of Amazon that just has a trash blank on it. And it mean more to the org as well.
Dude, you just went deeper into esports merch than I ever. I'm just like, I'll support the org. I'll wear that. It looks cool. Mm-hmm. And you're like, it means something, man.
It does.
Well, I will say you might receive some backlash because I did. In my video, I was like, imagine running into like a random mom or dad who don't know any better, and you have an actual NRG hoodie on, and they have a fake Amazon one. And in the video, I was like, can you imagine how funny that would be? And someone was like, Jake, are you down talking people who can't afford actual esports org merch? And I was like, no, it would just be funny if they accidentally bought it off Amazon and didn't know. I'm sorry.
I saw that specifically, which is why I was trying to get deep into it to try to
explain I was like,
to people.
I didn't mean that. How did you take it like that? Like, I don't care that much, but yes, and then for me, it came down to you're supporting the organization. Obviously, yes, some merch is more expensive than others. But it's okay, yeah.
We have statements from like people like Ocelot being like, "Hey, yeah, orgs, especially high-profile ones, can lose millions per year on like fake products sold."
If this were to take off in the wrong direction, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially like FaZe. If someone was successful enough to rip off FaZe Clan, they would be losing out on some big money. So
absolutely, and let's be very clear. I'm that problematic fashion guy. I will notice if somebody's wearing something fake that I know about, right? But I will never say anything, or I won't think less of them for it, because who cares? I mean, you're wearing what you like to wear, as long as it looks good on you, as long as you're like, just chilling with it. Who gives it?
And I would never notice.
Yeah. I think it's a lot. You wouldn't notice somebody wearing a fake Optic hoodie unless it was like real bad, like Optic with like a Q or something.
Yeah. Which would almost be funnier. Either way, esports merch and the ripoffs, they are going to continue. We'll see in 2021 who's making the most off that merch, and we all know the answer. All right, Xanifer, you dropped the stats last week, so I thought maybe you're going to drop some on you. We're going to talk about the top streamers now revealed for the year of 2020. With that year now finally wrapping up, all the numbers are coming out, and we've talked about, I believe there was 3 different Streamer of the Year awards, Valkyrae, Nickmercs, and Ebi, formerly of G2, all won at different awards show the Streamer of the Year, but the actual stats for most watched streamers are now out there, and some of you might be surprised, others probably not. When it comes time for the male side, XQC, dominant performance.
Of course.
The man does nothing but stream. And this is crazy because, yes, despite the OTV Rust server, he wasn't averaging the highest concurrent, I do not think. He was certainly up there. But a guy like Gales from the CSGO scene was probably a higher average. But XQC just streams so gosh dang much. He dominated, I believe, several million hours in front of anyone else. So XQC, Gales, Summit, also up there for streamer hours. No Brew, which is actually from the Free Fire space.
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm not familiar with the name at all.
Yeah, looked him up, and I believe also the South American fan base. I mean, crazy. Of course, you got a guy like Gales up there. Of
course.
The entire Egoland boys, Orin plays so successful. So pretty crazy to see. And then very lastly, Nickmercs rounds out your top 5. Ebi also in your top 10, by the way, for those South American viewers. Just crazy on Twitch. When it comes time for top 5 females, no surprise for the top 2. They were battling back and forth all year long. Valkyrae takes your number 1 spot.
I'm guessing the second one is Pokey.
You are correct.
Oh, let's go.
And then 3 ones that you might not hear about here in the gaming space or esports side. Sad Dummy, and I apologize if I mispronounce these, Pecora, and then Ginny. I've heard about Ginny as well. I believe at least 2 of those 3 are mostly just chatters on the Twitch website. So it's pretty crazy to see amidst that list. You look towards the top male guys and the top females. At the very, very top, of those top 5, a number of them have signed to esports or gaming organizations. And then if you include Pokimane being tied to offline TV, it's going to be cool to see as we creep into 2021 if more esports and gaming organizations can even afford these tippity top streamers as they continue to dominate.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think affording these very top of mind streamers is going to become increasingly difficult, and it may become less of a financial thing and more of a what can we offer you from an operations standpoint,
just like FaZe and Nickmercs.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. What can we do to help elevate your stream to the next level? What can we do to help bring you more deals? What can we do in XYZ way in exchange for that streamer promoting their brand? I definitely want to give a huge shout out to XQC. I think it's amazing that he managed to cinch that number 1 spot despite being involved in so much controversy, literally constantly.
It's because it works, man.
Yeah, it works.
I would say shouts to Summit. I mean, really, we only have a few stories, maybe once a month around the guy. Love the guy.
Yeah.
But he's not averaging massive concurrence compared to all of the rest in the top 10.
He's got that solid, firm base, though.
He's just a sleeper. I mean, the dude streams all he wants, what he wants, and he can still crack the top 10 consistently. It's crazy to see. And also a huge shouts to both G2 and 100T. I think the biggest steals of the year. Now, Ebi has obviously now left G2 for his own project, but it's pretty crazy to see G2 sign Ebi, 100 Thieves sign Valkyrae, and within within a year of both those signings, Valkyrae might have been a bit longer, both of them rise to be top male and female streamers. whilst being under the organization. I mean, what a great time and exposure.
Excellent job by the recruiters, like really locking those people
to see
down
that potential
right before they blew up.
Yeah.
Because it was like not even like probably like a year.
It wasn't like
year
an
and a
LG
half.
XQC.
Yeah.
They caught it before it even happened. So that's some great
not
stuff.
to say that they weren't already doing amazingly beforehand, but like,
Yes, obviously.
Just be super clear that we're not. Yeah.
Ebi and Ray were still killing the game, but before they really, really blew up, these organizations capitalized. So the top lists are now out there for 2020. The giant question being for 2021, who will maybe make an entrance newly to the top 10 and top 5s?
All right, my last topic for the week is some FGC news because I got to touch on the big stuff.
Of course,
yeah,
the huge stories.
Unfortunately, hey, the FGC is a niche, so I got to give them a shout out when we can, just to get the word out. But anyway, the FGC is doing something that a lot of other scenes have tried to do in their own various ways and with varying levels of success in establishing a community-wide code of conduct. 2020 was a rough year for the FGC.
I'm not going to say anything. I won't say anything.
Well, hey.
Good timing, I guess. Better late than never.
There's a good reason it's coming out this year. Last year was a bad one.
Community conduct, rule number 1. Don't interact with kids.
I think like the top 5 rules when they actually get to like the rule list were like no sexual assault, no sexual harassment, all this stuff will be monitored.
Are they actually rules that are pretty straightforward in society, or
more or less? Yeah, a lot of them are like just don't be garbage individuals. Let's not do that. And I think it's good to have these rules in place because it does matter that people know 100% don't do these things because very clearly in 2020 we have a lot of examples.
How many? We broke 100, didn't we?
We broke 100.
We only covered 3 or 4 because we could not keep up.
It was too much. We didn't even cover several of the super big ones because it was like too much.
And it was too heavy. Like that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what I was going to say. Could sound kind of weird. I mean, God forbid for the victims in this situation. Obviously, I can't imagine. But it also takes a toll to cover that many stories in a row because you have to read into all the details, and it's just kind of it's a crappy hole to go down.
Yeah, especially when in a lot of cases there isn't a lot of evidence. There's not a lot of very clear proof. So you don't want to directly throw somebody under the bus for some very serious accusations without having backing to it, even if you believe the people who are making the accusations don't want to spread it necessarily.
It's very scary.
Yeah, but this is a good thing, definitely, that there is a code of conduct getting established. But the issue that I found in this, and the issue that I've taken with many others in the esports industry broader, is that I don't see this being effective even slightly. Because
wow, you just kind of surprised me. I would actually tend to agree because these rules should have already been known just because you made them in writing.
Yeah, and of course there are a couple like very small.
What's your reasoning?
Ones. Yeah, we've seen not quite in the same circumstances. Of course, other scenes haven't had the same uprising of very serious allegations levied against them. The FGC did in 2020.
Not to the extent, not even close to the extent.
Yeah,
but certainly had their issues.
Yeah, definitely, right. But even when they've tried to, other scenes speaking, when they tried to address much less serious problems like just like the treatment of players, like proper pay, stuff like that, which not to say those are less serious, but different categories, I'd say, right?
100%.
And they've found very little success in that, even when they have high-ranking players, high-ranking members of organizations, even when we have stuff like the ESIC getting started, you see very little change happen. And in this case in particular, there weren't even any recognizable names on the list of signatories to this code of conduct. No top TOs, only one really high-profile member of the industry that I can name, Ultra David. And, these aren't people who are unreachable. Like, heck, I mean, I'm not a big guy in the FGC, and I can still talk to some of these people every now and again, right? And if something like this doesn't even get a response, you got to imagine it's pretty moot. My question to you is, we've seen this time and time again with different players' organizations, different codes of conduct. Do you have any idea what esports can do to really better itself in this way? Because it's so far all these attempts aren't working out.
Now, we don't know everything, but when it comes time directly talking about player associations, I have yet, and I've been doing this for, a few years at least. I've seen the rise and fall of a ton of player associations, and I myself personally, maybe you guys can listening, I cannot name a single player association for a single game or esport out there that has been overwhelmingly successful to the point where everyone's like, yo, that's a good model. We should copy that. I've seen the fall, I believe, in Dota, League of Legends, CSGO. Call of Duty never came to fruition. Fortnite never came to fruition. League of Legends is starting to start one up again, and we'll see if that one works. No, this is just, again, it's too new on. I don't think until we get some big wigs out there who have an established plan and a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of want to actually communicate in and out with players, it's going to take a long time. And, hopefully we're talking about it differently, 20, 30 years from now, but I don't know how long these kind of things
Hopefully
take.
it doesn't take 20 years.
I mean, yeah, that's just kind of a random timeline.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't seen it done well. And I think especially when you're in a problematic scene like that with, again, knock on wood, can it get much worse?
I mean, the answer is definitely yes. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Every time you think esports can't get worse,
well,
unfortunately,
at the very end of the day, hopefully
nonsense.
establishing these rules makes it so people at FGC events or in the community itself are looking out for one another
Hopefully.
a bit better.
Or at least there are more appropriate repercussions for, bad behavior
Yeah.
more immediately than years down the line. My one suggestion was going to be that if we want any of these organizations, any of these codes of conduct to succeed, we need to get the CEOs of esports organizations down. I think those are the signatures that matter. If we get all esports org CEOs to agree to
And
certain,
TOs.
and TOs, of course, right? But I think it starts with the orgs themselves, because we've had TOs involved in these things before and it hasn't worked out. And if we can get the org owners down to say, hey, yeah, if you don't abide by this, you can't compete for us at all, then, that's the type of thing I think we'll actually see a change from.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see where we go from here in the FGC. Certainly 2020 was a miserable year. Hopefully a bit better in 2021.
Fingers crossed.
But on a happier note there, folks, we reached the end of this Find Their podcast, the Esports Rewind podcast. Same time, same day, every single week. Yeah. Zan, want to give him that good old outro?
Yeah. As always, thank you so much for joining us here for the Esports Rewind podcast, sharing with you the top esports news stories throughout the entire week. If you'd like to listen to the Esports Rewind podcast on the go on your mobile phone, on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can type in Prediction. We're part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. By all means, go check us out. Shout out to all of our audio listeners. We greatly appreciate you supporting the podcast. Oh my God, Jake.
Ow!
Okay?
Sorry.
Jake almost ruined his elbow. Anyway, shout out to all of our listeners there, and as well as our listeners on TV stations out there in Canada, especially.
Hey? I love you guys, eh? Sorry.
Is that your attempt at a Canadian accent? Hey. Anyway, for all of our viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in. You can find our daily esports news content at Esports Talk on YouTube. You can also reach out to us at any point in time on Twitter as well as Instagram. Twitter, that's talk_esports. Instagram is esports_talk. And just this week, we started posting consistently to TikTok again.
Find us on TikTok. Find us on TikTok. Just
type in esports talk. You'll find us. You know the logo, fam.
We're trying out more things.
Yeah. We'll have some behind the scenes content for you there, as well as some really brief news breakdown. So by all means, go follow, subscribe, whatever it is on that platform. It really does help us out a lot. Jake, any words for the people?
We'll catch you back here next time, folks. Until then, take care.